So we're back with another episode. We're going to talk about games today, what we're playing very briefly. Then we get into our topic. Today we're talking about game industry and development and how things have changed since we were kids in the 80s to now. And again, none of us are game developers. We might know people who are in game development, but we've all, I would say, pretty fairly well read and respectively Europe, Canada, America, Taiwan, that sort of stuff. So we'll be able to give you some at least historical insight into what's going on. All right, guys. So we know where game development came from, right? For us, where do you think game development is going in the next 5 to 10 years? Bigger, smaller, indie is going to survive, AAA is going to die. All right, Adam first.
I don't think AAA is going anywhere. I think those will always be around. As far as indie, I think part of the reason that we've been seeing so much more indie games, I mean, part of that's the internet. You know, distribution is so much easier for indie games than it was in the past, right? Because in the past you had to manufacture cartridges and stuff like that. But also, I think part of it is just the tools that we have now just make it so much easier for people to develop. You know, we have things like Unity, which is free to use, and you just have to maybe pay some licensing fees if you ever release something. But if you're just doing stuff for fun, you know, you can have it entirely for free. But I think as these tools get better, I mean, the whole point of a programming language itself, Java, C++, all that, is basically an interface between a human telling a computer what to do. And I've seen things like block programming, which is how they teach young children how to program, and it makes programming so much easier. And you know, I've done little games and stuff with block programming, and it's just super simple. But I think as, you know, things like Alexa and AI and stuff like that evolve, I don't think this is in the near future, but I'm saying probably at some point in our lifetime, it's going to start getting to the point where programming is basically just literally telling a computer what you want it to do, and it's going to be able to do most of it for you. So I think that'll be definitely something that we'll see in our lifetimes, not in the near future, but I do think development's just going to continue to get easier and easier and easier, especially as we get better tools for things, especially now because you have, what's it called? Where people are sharing assets. So you can go on something like Unity and they have the asset store.
It's oh God, I don't know. Maybe Antoine knows.
I don't remember what it's called, but they have like an asset store. So I mean, now it's not even just
Epic has that store. It's literally called a game asset store.
And yes. I think that makes things really cool because it's one of those things too before where maybe I want to make a game and I know programming, but I'm not that good at art, but I can put art, you know, I can just get art off of these asset stores. And if I'm an artist and I'm like, you know, programming algorithms, that's just way above my head, but I can create models. You know, and so I think you're going to see a lot more stuff like that where people are collaborating, where they're not, you know, directly working together, but, you know, collaborating and sharing ideas across where it's easier to build games in such a way. I mean, isn't that's kind of the idea behind Core, right? And to an extent, Roblox, where you're trying to create these, we're creating assets for you and then giving you tools to use these assets. And the fact that things like that, especially, say, Roblox, is kind of geared towards children, the programming is still pretty advanced. I mean, this is still stuff that most adults probably are programming most of these things. You know, these are hobbyists. But the fact that that exists, I think that we're going to see a lot more of that sort of thing in the future. So,
what do you think, Antoine? Future.
So first of all, Roblox, if you don't know, is on the stock market as one of the next 4, I think, leaders of the metaverse, for whatever it means. So I think that take 20 years ago and you had Nintendo and Sega and whatever fighting with AAAs. I don't think indie really even exists at the time. Why do we have indie now? Because AAAs, unless, you know, it's Horizon or something very fresh and interesting, they are like Marvel movies, you know, it's fast food. It's you play it, but it's kind of interesting that you want to play it, but it's just not that good. Far Cry 6. You play it, you know the gameplay, but you finish the game like a week later you forgot it. That's how it is. And you have your indie games, which are your breath of fresh air. There's not much money into it, but the idea, the gameplay, is something which makes you feel like that's fantastic. So that's one thing. But now, and I read something about it. The issue is that triple A's, especially on the newer machines, the budget are, especially CGI and things like this, the budget are going through the roof. So they want to take even less and less risk because the cost of making a game is increasing, always increasing. But I still think that $80 is quite expensive for a game, but the price is 80, and that's how it is for all platforms nearly. So this is not increasing. So that's kind of an issue that big company or big AAA editors will face. They will always be here. That I agree with you. That they will definitely face some kind of financial trouble, deadlock at this point, and they may need to find another, cash flow machine. And this cash cow would, for me, be in the form of mobile game. I don't know how hard it is to program a mobile game, but I'm sure you don't need a team of 500 to create a mobile game. I don't know who created Candy Crush. I don't think it took that many people. So, and this game are $0, literally. And you do, I don't know, you do whatever mobile game and put a crappy ad on Facebook, and tens of thousands of people download it. I hate mobile game ad on Facebook. You have no idea. And it keeps popping up. Ugh. And so for me, the future would be this kind of model, which is easy to make, free, and attract people because it's free. And then once they are inside, try to attract the whale to spend money onto it. More DLC, more additional content, more buy more, because the main stuff is expensive and we're not making money out of it. We need all the side wardrobe or whatever to make money out of it. So yeah, future for me is much more mobile game, and the financial way a mobile game is done. I think that would be more interesting for developers at the moment. That's what I think. But yeah, you tell me.
All right. So let's do some quick questions. All right. If you were a game dev, we'll go Antoine first.
Yes.
All right. So Antoine, if you're a game dev, what is your dream game you'd like to make?
Indie game, such things, Subnautica or something like this, or Horizon, like a post-apo with a fantastic story which gets you addicted from start to finish. Simple gameplay, Slime Rancher, something relaxed, but like a post-apo, simple, maybe a crafting game, base building, this kind of thing. Oh yeah, I'd love that. But simple and relaxing gameplay.
Okay. Adam, what about you? What would be the Adam Gray dream game you'd like to create if you were the game designing genius?
I've always wanted to create an SRPG kind of in the vein of Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, I loved Final Fantasy Tactics so much, and just that style of gameplay. And to me, it always seemed like that would be a relatively easier game to create, just because you don't have to worry about so many things like collision detection and some of these more complicated things that you need in an action-oriented game. So yeah, I've always wanted to do a back when I was in college, I would even try to put together some stuff. So yeah, some strategy RPG, or I've always been surprised that there aren't too many games that follow the Super Smash formula. So I've always wanted to create a game that follows that formula as well.
All right, Adam, back to you first. What's your favorite game development studio and why?
Favorite is probably Square Enix. I mean, I've been following them since, way back.
God, I shouldn't have asked this question.
Yeah, I mean that was probably a pretty easy one. But I mean, it's not even just Final Fantasy. They have so many other games. I'm really looking forward to Forspoken. I mean, that's Square Enix as well. I really enjoyed Bushido Blade back in the day. That was Square Enix. But I really like them. I really like a lot of the PlayStation developers as well. Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, and especially Sucker Punch and
Naughty Dog. Yeah.
Guerrilla. Sucker Punch is really good. I think, was it Sucker Punch or was it Naughty Dog that did the infamous games? I think that was Sucker Punch, right?
Sucker Punch.
Yeah. So I really like Sucker Punch and Guerrilla. Guerrilla is the one that did Killzone and Horizon, and Sucker Punch did in Infamous and Ghost of Tsushima. So I really like those two studios. And I miss Studio Japan. They don't make games. They disbanded, but they were great too.
Anton, what about you? Favorite
I
game?
will
Dev?
I will add to this list Take-Two, which is the other one with Borderlands, right?
Borderlands is Gearbox, right?
Yes.
Gearbox and Take-Two, isn't it?
Take-Two is the publisher.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
And can't remember the guys who made BioShock.
2K Games.
2K, sorry, not Take-Two, 2K. 2K, thank you. Sorry. Isn't 2K Borderlands as well?
Adam's right. It's Gearbox Publishing for Borderlands.
Anyway, so yeah, these.
Okay. Very cool. Oh God, I forgot
What
what
about
is
you?
for me. Oh God, going back to the original days, the studio that got me into gaming was Westwood Studios. Command and Conquer, 1995. When I went overseas for the first time, I bought it from Virgin Studios in London. Came back, I played it for like 24 hours in a weekend. Finished the game. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's when I developed the sense of megalomania, where I wanted to take over the world and kill everybody.
A good dream.
It is.
Yeah, I
So
used to
yes,
like
I was
Blizzard,
right.
but they fall onto the wayside.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Both BioShock and Borderlands are 2K, so
Oh,
2K.
nice.
Fanboy. Woo!